Hello, everyone. Nellie Harden here. I hope you're having a great day. Yesterday happened to be Love Day, Valentine's Day, right? So happy belated Valentine's Day. If I didn't get to see you or we didn't interact yesterday, which is probably most of you, but I hope you had a great day. And if you missed it, I put down in one of my videos, I was posting about and talking with my community about how to make the day less love receiving centered and a lot more love giving centered, because it can be a really tricky holiday for a lot of teens and tweens, and let's face it, adults too. So, if we can kind of focus on giving love, then we focus a lot less on what am I getting? Am I worthy? Do they like me? Is it okay? Am I, destined to be alone forever, even though I'm 15 or 14, or maybe I'm 45, whatever that is. And so, one of our traditions that we do in our family is we get flowers. My husband actually gets all the ladies' flowers, all five of us. If any of you don't know me yet, I have four daughters, four teenage daughters that are right now at this recording. They're 17, 15, 15, and 13. So he gets us all flowers and it's wonderful. We wake up to them in the morning and then we pick some out that we want to keep. And then the rest of them, we just put in a big pile and we go give them away to others and just wish others happy Valentine's Day. And yesterday, it's just so sweet every time. There's always the trepidation going up to people's. We hand them out in our neighborhood this year. We've done them in town before too. But there's always that trepidation of going up to someone's door and being like, oh, they're going to think I'm trying to sell something or what have you. But they were really brave and did great. And the stories that they get, I think the first three of them, at least the doors that they knocked on, they were women that were home alone. Their husbands were away for, one reason or another. And it just made their day to be able to receive a flower on Valentine's Day and know someone was thinking about them. And so those type of things really bring giving love into focus. But we want to do that for more than just one day a year, right? Oh, and I received an email this morning too with somebody else that said it was a man that emailed us from the neighborhood and said it was just made his day, him and his wife's day, to be able to get those yesterday. And it just made them so joyous. So get out there and give some love. But my point is, we don't want to just make it a one day thing, right? So what are some ways, other ways that throughout the entire year we can be giving love, setting up this habit, setting up this mindset and this discipline in giving love? So I want to share with you some things that you could do today and throughout the year that can set this precedent of, I am going to wake up today and I am going to bring joy to the world. I'm going to bring love out into the world and focus less on what am I getting, who loves me, who likes me, right? And that worthy downward spiral that can happen real quick, especially in those teen and tween years. Remember, to be loved is one of the five basic needs. And if you don't know about those yet, you can go to nellieharden.com/5 needs, download that. It's one of our resources that we have available to you, but it's really, really important to everybody. It's really, really, really important to our teens and tweens. Okay, so let's get into these 10. So number one is always my go-to is serve others, right? Serve others. Get out there and use your abilities, your talents, your manpower, your time, whatever that is, and serve others. You can serve the homeless. You can serve the person next door that needs something. You can serve women and children. You can serve orphans. You can serve, just go to other cultures and serve and learn and be immersed in that. There's so many different ways that you can get out there and serve, right? You can find any local church is going to have serving opportunities. There might be different ministries in your area. There might be different causes, but just get out there and serve and make it a consistent effort on your family's part, so it becomes ingrained in the DNA of who your kids are. Remember, their brains right now are super plastic, meaning they're being molded right now until it's not molded anymore, and they have a set foundation for the rest of their life. So if you are enforcing in a positive way all of this serving throughout their adolescence, then that's going to be a part of their DNA for the rest of their life. And that is a great, great part of their DNA. Okay. So number one, serve others. Number two, what about serving strangers even when they're not there? This takes that whole recognition piece off the table, right? Which that recognition piece can really get the dopamine rush going and feel so good, right? The helper's high, which is great and wonderful, but it's also good to be unrecognized and just knowing that you're doing something good to do something good and give love out in the world. So just some examples of this are maybe I've seen painted rocks around town, right? It's so fun to find those painted rocks. You are loved, you are cared for. Go get it today. You are worthy. I see what you're trying to do in the world and it's amazing, right? Just paint some rocks. It's a great family activity. It's a great alone activity, even. You get the creative juices going, you get to go hide them, be a ninja around town, but it also brings people joy later on. If you're in a coastal town like I am, I've seen shells that are also painted that you can do and maybe put scripture on them, even if you wanted to, but just some things that you can do in order to clean up without being recognized. Different things too. Maybe you see that there's a mess on the side of the road, right? And you go and do a cleanup. Maybe you do a beach cleanup. No one's there to say thank you so much, but literally the world is crying out thank you to you for doing that. And so serving strangers and others, even when you're not going to be recognized, that's number two. All right. Number three is writing letters to one another. Writing letters, especially if not especially, but also when there's turmoil happening, it's really nice to be able to sit down, get into focus, and write a letter about all those things that you really appreciate about that other person, showing them love, showing them recognition, showing them their worthiness, right? And if there's turmoil, a lot of times you can feel, I run into this between sisters in our own home, parents and kids, but out there between anybody and everybody, there's always going to be some friction because we're 8 billion different people, right? Different perspectives, different characters that are walking around. So there's always going to be a little bit of friction. And it's really easy if there is that friction to think, they don't like me. I'm not worthy in their eyes. I'm a failure, fill in the blank, the downward spiral goes down. You have to figure out what's really real. And you know what? No matter what, I want to tell them what I see in them. That's positive, good, kind, compassionate, etc. So writing letters to one another and telling them why you appreciate them is a really, really powerful thing to do. Okay. Number 4 is never taking the last of anything without asking others if they would like more or like some, right? That is, if any of you have many kids in your home or even just one kid, it can be a source of contention, right? Who took the last? Fill in the blank, whatever it is. Who took the last? Fill in the blank. But if you get them into this habit and you go first, they follow, right? And helping them understand, don't take the last of anything without asking if other people would like some too. It's a beautiful way of showing love. Number 5 is contribute to the workload in the home, in the school, even in strangers in a parking lot that are struggling to get groceries in the back of the car or struggling to load or unload a car or what have you. Maybe it's a mama that has a kid she's trying to put in the back seat and their other kid is running out toward the road and you can jump out and help. There's so many ways to serve others and contribute to the workload that others are going through. So contributing to the workload is number 5. Number 6 is compliment others. Their eyes, their smile, their talent, their effort. You can compliment their clothes too, or their earrings or their shoes or what have you, but also compliment something that is intrinsically theirs, right? If you're just complimenting extrinsic or things that they can take on or take off or what have you, it's not really a compliment to them. It's just a compliment maybe to their taste or their choice that day, but it's not a compliment to them. So when you're sending out compliments out into the world, you're sharing love out into the world. Make sure that you're complimenting something that is intrinsically theirs. Gosh, I really love the effort that you put into the practice this week with your piano. I thought that was awesome. And I I really love your smile. It lights up a room every time you come in. Your laugh is contagious. I love it, right? And just those type of things really about who they are, their effort, their talents, their something about them, right? Number 7, hold doors for people behind you. This is more of an anti-disrespect than a respect sometimes, because many times we go through a door, we don't notice as much when someone is holding it open for us, and we might see it and say thanks and what have you. But you definitely notice it when someone goes through right before you, and then it closes right on you, right? You feel like you don't belong. Maybe you shouldn't go here. All these things flash through your mind. And again, for our teens and tweens, they really, really do. Their brains are on high alert right now. And so, having this practice of holding the door open for the people behind you is also this great illustration for life and disciplines and resilience, right? You are going up the mountain, and once you get through a hurdle, once you figure out how to get over that bridge, you can turn around and help other people do the same, right? And the same thing is just as simple as holding the door open for the person behind you so they don't feel like they don't belong, that they're rejected, that they aren't worthy, right? You're welcoming them in, even with the smallest gesture like that. It's a way to show love. Number 8 is always be on the lookout for people that are alone and include them. Remember that everyone needs to belong. It's one of those 5 needs that we talked about, and that's in that resource I talked about earlier. I'll put the link down in the notes below. But the 5 needs: seen, heard, love, belong, purpose, and the explanation, easy ways that you can fill those at home. But as a person, as a parent, and as a kid, if we can just always have on our radar, all right, who's looking like they're kind of alone right now, right? I think every kid every person has had the experience when they walk into somewhere new and they don't feel like they belong. And that is never, ever a comfortable feeling, right? And if we know that we have the need to belong, and we know that every single other person also has that need, no matter if they put up a wall for it or not, then we can help them by just trying to include them, being kind to them. So just keeping a radar up all the time is a great way to show love and share love, and who seems to be alone and how can I include them, right? Number 9, ask how a person is and actually listen. Now, I understand we cannot do this to every, Jennifer, Becky, and Rachel, and Henry, or what have you, that are out there, because we have things to do and we have time. But maybe, once or twice a day, or with the people that are closest to you, ask how they're doing and actually listen to the answer. And it's not just going to be fine, right? Well, fine. Okay, great. What's happening? If you know something that was, came up last week or what have you, ask about that. When people know that you actually listen to them, it's like, whoa, they actually care. They actually listened. They're not just going along in the drone life of, how are you? Fine. Good. Great. Awesome. Have a good day. Yep. That's it. No, they actually care. They actually listen. And so when you're interacting with somebody, I'm thinking about a scenario that happened just a couple weeks ago, and not to say I haven't asked someone how their day is since then, but this just reminded me. And I was at youth, and I asked one of the other leaders, "So, how are you?" And she said, "Fine." And then I said, "Oh, well, how was that?" They were involved in an event that they were doing before. And so how did that go? They're like, "Oh, well, my goodness, thank you so much for asking." And then they told all this stuff, and they were excited. They were excited because someone had invested even the smallest amount in getting to know them further and remembering something about them. So ask how someone is and actually listen. Okay. And number 10, you guys, this might be the easiest one of all. And there's been some really easy ones in here. Hold the door open. I mean, come on. But it means so much. But number 10 is just smile. That is one of the easiest, most profound ways to share love out there in the world is to just smile. Walk around, make eye contact with people as you're going along, not in a creepy way, but in a genuine way, and just smile. Hey, when you're driving along and you pass somebody, hey, just do a little wave, right? Be kind and smile. When people smile at you, it's a way of just giving some warmth into your life, and you have the opportunity to do that sometimes, hundreds of times a day. Maybe it's just once or twice. Maybe you work from home, you have a couple of Zoom meetings, you can still smile at those people. And maybe you're out in the hustle and bustle of things and you see 1,000 people a day. Those are 1,000 smiles that you can share with people. So just smile. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, for more about the 5 needs, communication fast passes to understanding your teens and tweens and teaching them how to live inside out, so they aren't, swayed by the new trends or derailed by feeling all the feels of this teen and tween gauntlet that they're going through all the time, visit my website, nellieharden.com. I'll put the link down below and check out our resources and especially the masterclass Daughter Decoder. Okay, guys, thanks for listening and growing with me today. I really appreciate it. And remember 2 things. Number 1, out there, they are one of 8 billion people, but in your home, they're just one of you. And number 2, remember that the best way to change the world is through your living room today. Okay, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next time.